trying to make sure everything's working. It seems like it is. So let's just hope for the best. We're about to check out a Destiny clip of him debating Ben Shapiro and apparently getting smoked. Let's check this out, man. Hit the like button, share the video as well, man. It's about to get crazy.
That was the goal from start to finish, whether it was through false claims, whether it was through illegal schemes, or whether it was through violence at the Capitol to delay the certification of the vote.
Ben?
So I'm glad you're excited. It's always fun. There are two elements to incitement.
Destiny gets completely destroyed in this clip with Ben Shapiro on the Lex Fridman podcast as Destiny and Ben Shapiro debate whether or not Donald Trump committed insurrection on January 6th, and Destiny, in his attempt to smear Donald Trump, gets humiliated with facts from Ben Shapiro. I have to imagine being an actual lawyer like Ben Shapiro probably helped him prepare for the wiki warrior, which is Destiny. So let's jump in, folks.
One of the big issues in this presidential election is going to be
the wiki warrior is crazy. That is Destiny. Wikipedia knowledge, going out and debating people that actually know what they're talking about as well. But that's Destiny style for sure. That's what he does.
Be January 6th. It's in the news now, and I think it's going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. So question for Destiny first. Did Donald Trump incite an insurrection on January 6th, 2021?
Absolutely. This is probably ignoring every other issue we've talked about, of which I think there are plenty that I would say disqualify Trump from holding office. I think that the conduct and the behavior leading up to and including January 6th, I think is wildly indefensible. I am excited to see Ben try to, the 3 to 4 stages are the taking what I think any reasonable person would say knowingly false information about elections being rigged or ballot boxes being stuffed or Ruby Freeman, running ballots 3 times in Georgia, taking that knowingly false information and trying to call state secretaries and stuff to have them flip their electoral vote. That was horrible. The plot that Eastman hatched in order to have these false slates of electors where all 7 states had citizens go in and falsely say that they were the duly elected electors that could submit votes to Congress. That was insane. That happened. Asking or begging Pence to accept these false states of electors initially, and then just say you should just throw it out completely and throw it to the House delegation, which was majority Republican. That was absolutely unbelievable. And then on the day of January 6th, trying to capitalize on the violence by him, Giuliani, and Eastman making phone calls to senators and congressmen saying, well, don't you think maybe you guys should delay the vote a little bit? Don't you think they're just really mad about the election? I think he said to McCarthy, they're more upset than you. And his utter dereliction of duty in not doing anything to stop the rioting that happened on January 6th because he was too busy taking advantage of it. I think all of these things are horrible. I look forward.
So disgusting. The stuff that he putting out there. Destiny genuinely don't be knowing what he talking about. I'm telling you. He is the Wikipedia king.
We're just seeing the Jack Smith indictments play out in court. Maybe even the Georgia RICO case. But I think all of these things are unfathomable. And I think when you look at the plot from start to finish, clearly the goal the entire time was to circumvent the peaceful transfer of power. That was the goal from start to finish, whether it was through false claims, whether it was through illegal schemes, or whether it was through violence at the Capitol to delay the certification.
Ben.
So I'm glad you're excited. It's always fun. There are two elements to incitement of insurrection. One is incitement, the other is insurrection. So incitement has a legal standard. So does insurrection. Neither of those standards are met. So if you're asking me, morally speaking, did Donald Trump do the right thing between November 4th and January 6th? I will continue to say, no, he did not. I think he was saying things that are false, with just factually false about his theories with regard to the election, about the election being stolen, about fraud. This was all adjudicated in court. He did not even bring many of the claims that he has brought publicly and all the rest of that. If we're talking about incitement of insurrection as a legal standard, it doesn't meet any of those standards. When it comes to incitement, it has to be incitement to immediate lawless action. That's the standard for incitement. And I'm very meticulous in how I use this because I happen to speak publicly a lot. And that means there are lots of people who listen to me, which means some of those people are probably crazy. And some of them may go and do a crazy thing.
How the heck is Destiny about to debate this? If it's the law, what is Destiny talking about?
Did I incite them? The media tends to use the word incitement very loosely with regard to this sort of stuff in the same way that Bernie Sanders, quote unquote, incited the congressional baseball shooting. He did not. Bernie Sanders has a lot of things I disagree with. I think Bernie's a schmuck. Doesn't matter. He did not incite that. So saying bad things is not the same thing as inciting violence. Inciting violence, the legal standard in the United States is, I want you to go punch that guy in the face. That's inciting. With regard to insurrection, typically in insurrection, and there are some descriptions in case law, though none in statutory law, as far as I'm aware, the typical description in case law is the replacement of one legitimate government of the United States with another by violent means. The notion that Donald Trump coordinated any such insurrection is belied by the FBI itself. The FBI put out a report in, I believe it was August of 2021, suggesting that there was no well-coordinated insurrectionist attempt coordinated by the White House. In fact, what you had was Donald Trump thrashing around like that weird alien in the movie Life. I don't know if you ever saw it with Jake Gyllenhaal, or he's like kind of thrashing up against this glass box, just an alien just thrashing up against the glass box. That I think is...
Life with Jake Gyllenhaal. I watch a lot of movies. I do not remember that. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Is that the joint where, I don't want to spoil it, it was like some slime type of monster? People were saying that they could have flipped the name of the movie and made it like a Venom from Spider-Man Origin. It was like a slime joint going all around and it was getting people eyelids. I think that's a Jake Gyllenhaal like alien movie I remember. I think so.
Is more what you were seeing from November 4th to January 6th. And then again, the claim that January 6th itself was an insurrection. So virtually, I'm not aware that anyone was charged with actual insurrection. There were some people who were charged with seditious conspiracy. There are insurrection statutes that do exist. No one was charged under those particular statutes. There were some people who you could say informally had insurrectionist ideas. Those would be the people who wanted to hang Nancy Pelosi or kill Mike Pence. And those people are in jail right now. And the election went forward. The election was certified. Mike Pence presided over the certification. Mitch McConnell presided over the certification. Joe Biden has been the president for the last 3 years.
Like, Destiny is so sure of himself on this point, but all it was the media trying to hype all of this up. I mean, look, you assume the statements that he knew were knowingly false. Capitalize on violence. He specifically told people to protest patriotically and peacefully. Either what he says matters.
What the hell is Destiny talking about? Destiny just making stuff up, then, if that's the case.
Or it didn't. And they keep trying to, oh, well, he was speaking to the crowd in a whatever way. No, the guy said what he said, right? And everyone was so dead set on trying to sell this as an insurrection. Look, it was bad. It was a riot. But all of the people who were in there, like, they didn't get charged with insurrection. I mean, you had videos of people walking around peacefully, and that's why they've gotten out. They've been released. So at this point, if you can't see that all of everything that they showed was just BS. It was just to hype up your emotion.
If you want to check out the creator that I'm reacting to, I'm gonna start putting the links in the description, right? At least try my best to. It's confusing as hell sometimes, right? But I check the description and you should see the source for everything that I react to
make you feel like it was. And then you have someone like Ben Shapiro like, oh, well, here's the legal definition. This is actually what the words mean. And then we're going to follow the law. Like, wiki warriors always want to overlook a lot of that stuff like Destiny does. But like I said, being a lawyer actually kind of changes things. Now, folks, I want you to tell me in the comments, do you think...
And mind you, yeah, that's exactly what Destiny is, a wiki warrior, right? That's his source. That's his end-all, be-all, right? Destiny is just going to, I guess, use Wikipedia and act as if that makes him a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. That's nuts. But that's Destiny's style.
It was an insurrection. I think it was a riot, personally. I mean, you had some stuff get broke. Okay, that happened. But you know what? Democrats have done the same thing, damn near, in other places. So if that's an insurrection, well, you got to start charging all these other people for all this other stuff. Like, we're not doing the two-tier system. No, that's bullshit, folks. All right, leave a like if you're enjoying the video. And let's get back into this.
So
if you
Donald
call
Trump,
that an insurrection, imagine what you could call Destiny saying about Trump. Which can you call that? People can argue he was actually promoting and telling people to do something.
By the way, was still president at that point. If he had actively wanted to do what other people who have actually launched coups have done, he would have theoretically called the National Guard not to put down the riot, but to actually...
I got to stop pausing when I talk. Shout out to everybody that's watching me live, man.
Depose the sitting government of the United States in the name of a specious legal theory. He did not do that. He did not attempt that. Nobody working for him did that. the most you can say, I think, about what everybody was doing is that, and I want to say everybody. We can talk about Trump because this is really about Trump. He used a phrase that Trump was disseminating knowingly false information. The word that's carrying a lot of weight there is the word knowingly. So knowingly implies a knower. Do I think the information he was disseminating was false? Yes. Do I think that Donald Trump has a unique capacity to convince himself of nearly anything that is to his own benefit? Absolutely. And I think that that's actually what Donald Trump was doing there. And the evidence of that is Donald Trump being a human and all of us watching him for the last several years. So, the idea that he knew it to be false, I'm not even sure those standards apply in any, and just assessing him as a human, which is really what we're being asked to do because there's an intent element to this crime. Do you think that today Donald Trump knows that he lost the election?
Absolutely.
So I don't actually. I think
so I'm glad that you have the attorney background. When we are assessing mens rea, when we're looking at certain criminal statutes where intent is required, it's a reasonable person standard, right? Like would a reasonable person have known that they were...
no, it depends on the mens rea standard. So it's not the same in every case. If you have to establish...
You got to stop acting like he know everything, right? Like actually receive information when there's someone who knows more about it there in front of you. Like, I don't know if it's ego or if he's trying to just uphold whatever name he has in debate world. But nigga, it's okay to be wrong, dude. Like it's perfectly fine to be wrong.
Visual intent,
receive the correct information.
It's not enough to say a reasonable person should have known. That would be enough for a negligence statute. Usually when you're talking about reasonable person statutes, just legally speaking, a reasonable person statute is, should a reasonable person have known? That's when you get to like manslaughter. Sure. You can't do a reasonable person standard on like first degree murder. So you have to establish actual motive in first degree murder.
But for first degree murder, you don't need the statement of I plan to kill this person or I intend to kill this person. We can prove that state of mind.
You need
circumstantial evidence.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Sure. You could prove it.
So I feel like my feeling for Donald Trump was there were all these people around him that he trusted to investigate election fraud. He trusted Barr and the DOJ. He asked Pence, his vice president, to look into it. He asked his chief of staff. He asked his legal counsel. He has so many people that ostensibly he trusts them if he's asking them to look into it. And when all of them looked into it and reported back to him, no, we found nothing. Unless we're going to literally make the concession that Trump might actually be a delusional psycho man, at that point, should he not have realized like, well, okay, maybe there's
nothing. I think he should have realized the day of the election that he lost the election.
Trump delusional. What are you? What that make you, nigga?
But that's not. But that's
sure. But I'm just asking. I'm saying that like at that point, should he not have known that for him to go and propagate those claims that he'd asked all of the people he trusted to research, and then for him to take those claims to Michigan and to Georgia, and then publicly and to try to convince people to throw out the election? You don't think that?
But you're doing the same thing. You're reverting to should a reasonable person have known? Yes, a reasonable person should have known. Did Donald Trump know? That's a different question. And so conflating those two questions is going to get you into some messy territory. By the way, this is why Jack Smith charged the way Jack Smith charged.
Yeah, which was
Jack Smith did not charge conspiracy.
And I'm not even like a super Ben Shapiro fan, but he's cooking, right? And if Destiny was smart, he would receive the information. But I don't think he is.
Smith did not charge insurrection. He did not charge seditious conspiracy, right? The reason is because
he's not a doctor. He just plays one on TV.
Jack Smith is a good lawyer. What he's doing is he's actually broadly, I would say, pretty obviously expanding statutory.
See, I feel now like this is almost like a classroom. Like Destiny's going to class right now, and Ben Shapiro is teaching him of like this is what's actually going on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if he's smart, he'll be sitting there trying to be educated right now and not saying dumbass stuff.
And like even when Desi mentioned like, my feelings, that's the whole thing. They wanted everybody to feel so much like this was, an insurrection, and it wasn't. It just wasn't. They did everything they could to
sitting here arguing about feelings in a debate. It's crazy, bro. That's nuts.
Sell it. And especially when Tucker Carlson released that footage, it's like, hold up. Like, how does people walking around thanking police for being so nice and them, holding doors open for you? How is that an insurrection? It's not. But people like Destiny, all up in their feelings, all watching the mainstream news, getting lost in the sauce. Yeah, they don't realize what they're watching is just theater. It's just theater. It's just a good editor. That's all it is. Like editors can completely turn something that looks like crap into something beautiful. And that's all we saw with January 6th. And I'm glad people like Ben Shapiro and other reasonable people are able to see through all this BS. Otherwise, we would be in a much worse position right now. But folks, let me know in the comments what you think about what Ben Shapiro had to say.
think Ben Shapiro smoked him. If I'm just being honest, right? And once again, I'm not even like a super Ben Shapiro fan, right? But I could recognize when someone is, I guess, more knowledgeable than the person that's claiming to be, right? And every time I hear Destiny or see him debate, that's what it always seems to be the case. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what yours is down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video as well. Watch more videos. Watch the video I did yesterday. Appreciate you.